Yep.
In a world filled with sniveling snowflakes, where timeouts and safe places are abundant, where there's 37 genders to scroll through in a job application. Not that they have jobs. We're proud to be your salvation and your beacon to unabashed, in-your-face talk. This is Stars, Bars, and Cigars, the no-holds-barred conservative talk show hosted by battle-tested vets. Lock and load and get ready for an explosive journey through breaking news, the rich tapestry of constitutional history, and the pulse-pounding realities of Army and Navy life. Oh, and yeah, cigars. Stars, Bars, and Cigars. And now your hosts, Jimmy the Bull and Tig Tigger.
Hey, Patriots and Snowflakes. Tig, how are ya?
Great, Bull. How the hell are you?
Doing well. It's another great weekend in the books, huh?
Very busy one. Very tiring. Always busy.
Yeah. So tonight, do you think it's time for Trump to clean house? I think it is. But first, what are you smoking, Tig?
All right, I got the Ashton Corona. It's been a while since I've smoked a Corona. And if you're going to smoke a Corona, might as well do one of the big shots, the Ashton, the handmade imported Ashton. This is a Corona. It's a 5.5 by 44 gauge ring. It has a 90-point rating from Cigar Aficionado. It is a Dominican Republic. It is a Connecticut wrapper on it. It has that light Connecticut wrapper. It is aged in cedar chambers 6 months before being banded, boxed, and shipped. It has creamy notes of cedar, cashew, and toasted nuts. So I'll tell you what, it is.
Nuts, huh?
Yeah, toasted nuts, hot nuts. It is
nuts, huh?
slow burn. Wrong nuts there, Bull. Slow burn, even burn. Stays well lit. Great draw.
I love Ashton cigars. Yum.
They are pretty decent, man. If you're gonna have a Dominican, get an Ashton.
Yep.
If you're gonna have a Dominican, get an Ashton. Yep. All right.
Can't go wrong.
Bull, what are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking this jewel right here. It's an Undercrown by Drew Estates.
Can't go wrong. Outstanding cigar. I've smoked many of them.
Yeah, it's a Toro 6x52 ring gauge, and they use ultra premium aged tobacco. This has a Nicaraguan filler, Nicaraguan wrapper, and it's got kind of a lightly oiled wrapper too. It's kind of a nice looking constructed stick, and it's got a little, I don't know, like a band over across the top of it. I kind of left it on there just to show. I'm gonna pull it off here in a minute.
Well, Bull, from experience, I know, as you've said on the show before, you like your sticks oiled.
Lightly oiled wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Tig, where do we start with this one?
Oh, my God, I don't know. Why are we friends with England and Israel?
You know, I've been thinking about that, too. Israel, I could see to a point, but I think it's to please the Christians, maybe, but I can't see it anymore.
Too bad the Christians don't know the real truth. All right. Should we start with Israel, folks? How about this? How about the Israel? Most of Israel is not made up of Jews. How about that? A lot of Jews in Poland, a lot of Jews in Europe. Okay. And Israel became, what was it? Another country, a state back in 1959, I believe. Yeah, this is political reasons, and Israel practically owns the United States. We give billions and billions a year to Israel to have military superiority over the entire Middle Eastern region. So they're not victims, folks. Don't want to sound like a Democrat, not saying, oh, Paul, Palestine. I'm not saying that crap, okay? What I'm saying is the Jews, God's chosen people, as the Bible is written, it's so, and Israel is not the Israel it speaks of in the Bible. This Israel is basically an empire in the Middle East. It has a corrupt government like the United States. It has a corrupt intelligence agency known as Mossad, like our CIA. And the Zionists are pretty much running the show in Israel, and they pretty much have bought and paid for many political leaders in the United States, as well as they pretty much own our entertainment industry as well in the United States. The fact of the matter is, these guys, these druids, these monsters, these people that belong to the military industrialized complex, are warmongers. And Mossad and the CIA are very much responsible for 9/11 and very much responsible for all the Middle Eastern wars over all the decades. And they have continued these wars and these so-called holy wars based on money and the fact that they love war, not over religion at all. It's politics, it's money, it's war. And the fact is, there was recently on a video footage you showed me, Bull, on how a Muslim actually kind of called out a Jew, an Orthodox Jew, and basically destroyed him on the debate. I mean, saying, "Oh yeah, well, you want to talk about us being violent? Look at yours. Look at your Torah and stuff. Look at how violent your Bible is."
I don't think he was a radical Muslim, though. I don't think he was radical.
No, he wasn't. And there's radicalism in every religion. Don't get me wrong. The Jews, though, the Jews are just as bad with their old laws and stuff almost as the Muslims are. Well, you look at the similarities. I mean, Jews believed in stoning people. I mean, they stoned some early Christians. Who was it that said crucify him? And when they wanted Christ to be put on a cross, which was a brutal way of killing a person, of capital punishment back in those times, it was the Jews. So, and I'm just saying, folks, I'm not coming down on the Jews, because Christianity has Jewish roots, of course. I do think we ought to focus as Christians more on the New Testament and the message of Christ and not get caught up on all these Old Testament laws and stuff like that. And I do think that we need to be concerned when it's not really the Bible Israel we're talking about here in modern times. It is a very highly politically corrupt run system, like our own deep state. And so I don't know why we're still friends with them. Recently Trump has kind of distanced himself from Netanyahu, and that's about a bunch of things, but I bet that they don't care. Israel doesn't care that he's been making deals with like Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates as of late too. So, and I think Trump sees it. I think he sees it. Hey, wait a minute. You guys in Israel, your Mossad is no better than our CIA, and your government is no better than our deep state. And I think he's maybe seeing the light. I don't know. But anywho, I'm not going to defend Trump 100% either, because these days he's kind of irritating me too. He hasn't done enough either for what I would really like him to do. This is all digressing, and I haven't even spoken about England yet. So, yeah, we pretty much sold out to Israel, and it is not the Israel that the Bible speaks of. It is the Jews will yet come back to the homeland, the Holy Land. They have not yet, not the majority of the Jews. And right now what we see is a very evil and corrupt government running Israel, known as Zog, the Zionist occupational group, So,
Right.
and, there's a lot of military vets in the United States said, you know what, we found the truth and piss on these Middle East wars, piss on going to Middle East. We will never, ever go back and fight for a government that sides with the Israeli Zog government, the very corrupt government that basically has fought these wars over lies and basically just money and profits, sacrificing our own people, and then brainwashing the public to believe that it's for a legit cause of freedom, like Bush did during 9/11. Wasn't about freedom. Nobody threatened our freedom. The only ones that threaten our freedom are our politicians in this country. Okay, the Muslims were not a threat to our freedom at all. So, if anybody's a threat to our freedom, it's probably the Israeli government. All right, and I think we should distance ourselves from Israel until they get rid of their government.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think Netanyahu's kind of worn his welcome out.
Yeah. One word for England, Rothschild family, or two words, Rothschild, or if I want to use two words, Rothschild family.
Right.
Rothschild family's been around forever. I mean, us selling out to England, it goes way as far back as 1812. Okay, they funded both sides on our Civil War. They have their headquarters, the headquarters for the what do you call it? The Federal Reserve banking system is in London, England. We basically have sold out to England a long time ago, and we should not be friends with them. Our people fought for independence from them. Why are we still answering to the crown? Why do we still answer to Rothschild? Why do we give two shits about the royal family? Why are we friends with these guys? Nothing against the people of England. The people of England, great people. I've met them. I've worked with them. I've played with them. I've drank with them. I've done all kinds of things with England people. They're good people, but their government sucks. And we should not be siding with their government. We have fought wars with their government, with England, no matter good, bad, or ugly. It seems like we are always, allies with them. And I don't call it allies. I call it in cahoots, because all these wars, I'll tell you what, it goes back to the World War II. World War II. We sat back and did nothing. We didn't give a shit about the Jews. Okay, there was genocide going on. Hitler was killing Jews, and we didn't do nothing. And then it wasn't until Japan, bombed Pearl Harbor, that we had an excuse to get in the war. Japan was not an ally of Hitler, Nazi Germany. Japan was not killing Jews. They're two separate factions. So we fought Japan. We got in the war because they bombed us. And then suddenly, as soon as we get in the war with Japan, we decide we're going to go waltzing over to Europe and fight in World War II. And yet we were not attacked by Europe. We were not attacked by Nazi Germany. Some people could say, oh, yeah, well, he was heading our direction. I don't think so. He was already kind of wearing himself thin. But
Right.
Here's the thing. Here's a real reason why I think we went over there to fight the European campaign, World War II, because around the same time that we went in, funny how London was about ready to fall to Nazi Germany. And funny about how London is the headquarters for the Federal Reserve Bank, in which we relied heavily on for our currency system.
Right.
And if London would have collapsed and Hitler would have taken over the Federal Reserve Bank and taken over everything in London, we would have crashed as a country economically. See how that fits, people? So why are we friends with these guys? Why are we friends with England? I don't care if you want to call me an isolationist, but I think I'm sick of foreign funding. I'm sick of being friends with these countries. I'm sick of us being sticking our nose in their business. England and Israel sticking their nose in our business, and we sticking our nose in their business. You know what? Piss off. If America first is America first, then America needs to be first, and they need to be last. And we need to just distance ourselves from the crown of England and Parliament, and distance ourselves from the very corrupt Israeli government.
Right. Now, a couple thoughts are coming to mind. One is, Trump has been, kind of like courting the Middle Eastern, countries, and kind of neglecting the United States right now. I can understand that he's trying to, put down, some, solid, deals for the United States, but he's neglecting what's going on right under his nose.
Yeah,
He's got this Pam Bondi who is,
a
in my
dirtbag.
book, I think she's worthless. To be really honest
She's
with you.
horrible. She's a phony.
And MAGA is sick of her. MAGA knows that she's fucking got some ties to some, nefarious deals, and she's not doing her job. Trump needs to get his act together and start cleaning house. He needs to thin out the herd in the Congress, and he needs to get rid of, some of his cabinet members.
He
Let's
isn't
not
doing-
do another Bill Barr.
He isn't doing much to drain the swamp. And I'm sick of you conservatives out there because saying, oh, well, give him a chance. It's only been over 100 days. We don't have that much time. Midterms is right around the corner, folks. Midterms is right around
It'll
the
be
corner.
here before we know it. And
Yeah.
you know what?
You got to act fast.
Them son of a bitches on the left will cheat and steal this fucking midterms. You just put money on it. I guarantee you they will steal and cheat this deal.
Pam Bondi, when she was Attorney General for Florida, was all for red flag laws, which is highly against the Second Amendment. I have never trusted her. I still don't trust her. She's all talk. She shoveled those files under the rug of the Epstein files. You know why she did? Because she's got friends on that list. And, since we're talking about her, let me get this out of the way because this really irritates me. I was reading this. Maureen Comey, the Comey, daughter of James Comey, that scumbag 8647 douchebag. Okay, Comey, you should be 86th. You're the one that should be 86th, not 47. So
did you see that fucking Morgan Freeman he posted something about something about Trump, again, like an 86 thing, but not quite the same.
Yeah. These people, they're all part of the Hollywood bullshit thing,
Yeah.
They're bought and paid for by, the Zionists too. But anyway, Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter, is picked as the lead prosecutor for the P. Diddy case. Think about it. She prosecuted the Epstein case. And, in New York City, she knows the name of every single trafficker and sexual predator and never pursued charges for any of them. So the question would be, why would Pam Bondi still allow her to work for the DOJ? We know what James is like. It doesn't fall far from the tree, folks.
Right.
Okay, maybe because Pam Bondi's in cahoots with Maureen because they got friends on that list. On the P. Diddy list, the Epstein list, and that's why they want to make damn sure that nobody gets prosecuted, because if they get prosecuted, there'll be name drops, and those name drops are going to come back probably to this administration as well, if not Pam Bondi and everybody else. Here's the problem. You can't make friends with certain people and not think that if you've had stuff to do with them, anything to do with them, it ain't going to come back later on to haunt you. All right. Another thing I never liked is the fact that if you look at the Trump administration and you wonder, well, why aren't they really getting this Epstein thing going? Because, they all talked about it. Trump's, I'm sure, has got friends that were on Epstein's island, even though he's distanced himself from them. That if they start charging these people, they're going to start flapping their jaws and it ain't going to look good. It ain't going to sound good. So I don't know. There's no justice. There never will
Yeah.
be. Not. You know what? It doesn't matter who you elect. Who you elect, they're going to cover for all their friends that are, dirt bags. Um, it's that plain and simple. I don't know where this P Diddy list is going. Um, these people that need to be charged. I want to mention a few people on this list. The P Diddy list. I,
Yeah,
I think
go
I did.
ahead, man.
I think I did it one other time. It's some don't surprise me. Some does. Jay-Z, dirtbag anyway. No surprise. Beyonce, no surprise. Jennifer Lopez, no surprise. Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, no surprise. P. Diddy list, also big on the entertainment industry, big from the Illuminati, all that crap, okay? These are sick people. Naomi Campbell, Mary J. Blige, Leonardo DiCaprio. I
Go
believe he's
figure.
I believe he was also on the Epstein guest list as well. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some overlaps.
hmm Usher, Rihanna, Mariah Carey, Paris Hilton, Justin Bieber, but I think Justin Bieber was more a victim. He wasn't very anal retentive after those parties. Probably got a little too much lube leakage afterwards. Um, 50 Cent, Lil Kim, Dirtbags, Snoop Dogg, Alicia Keys, Serena Williams. It's kind of coming out. They got some early pictures of Serena Williams that depicts her being a male. And look at Serena Williams all these years. I used to say, well, God, her shoulders and her torso look too much like a man. You're telling me she's been bodybuilding forever, weightlifting forever, and that's just the way she looks for a tennis player? Have you ever seen all the other ladies tennis players? Kind of funny how Serena, for the longest time, dominated the tennis world until she started getting older, when they basically probably it was time for her to level out, because if she would have continued to dominate younger women, then it would have kind of looked funny, wouldn't it, if that an older tennis player is
Yeah.
still dominating. So that's why she had to level out and get a little worse to make it look like
Yeah.
age is getting to her. Look at the neckline, look at the torso. We're finding out that Serena Williams was probably one of the first men to dominate women's sports. So, getting off that, Will Smith is on the P. Diddy list. Judah Pinkett Smith is on the P. Diddy list. Chris Brown, Post Malone. Hey, all you people that have said, oh, I like Post Malone. His music sucks, and he's a dirtbag, and he's on the list, folks. Ellen DeGeneres. No surprise. She's on the Epstein guest list. Okay, Yes, there's another he, by the way. Boy, I'll tell you, during the 2020 lockdowns, if they showed Ellen DeGeneres, the androchrome was missing there, wasn't it? Kind of looked like a man without that makeup.
Yeah, kind of getting kind of brutal looking, and they kind of wondered if it was her dad, but I think it was her.
So he really isn't a lesbian. He is a he. Allen, maybe Allen DeGeneres.
That could be it. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
You're a dirtbag, Alan DeGeneres, and you deserve to be in prison. You perverted piece of shit. Kevin Hart, comedian Kevin Hart's on that list of P. Diddy's. Jamie Foxx. No surprise here, Oprah Winfrey. I mean, come on. Oprah Winfrey was on the Epstein guest list as well. She has her own freaking islands. She went to Africa. Hey, what happened to all those missing children from Africa, Oprah? What happened to all those children, so-called orphans? They kind of went missing, didn't they? Traffic much? Piece of shit. These people need prison. They need worse than prison. Quincy Jones was on P. Diddy's list. Lenny Kravitz, the musician. Madonna, no surprise. Chris Rock, comedian. Eva
Madonna, she was looking a little bit like she unaged.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's dipping into something that she shouldn't be dipping into.
Yeah. Well, Madonna's a sick human being. She's a monster.
A demon.
Shakira was on
That's
P. Diddy's list.
surprisingly.
Yeah. That's weird. John Legend, boxer Floyd Mayweather. You know, we always knew he was dirtbag. I did anyway. I never liked him.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, LL Cool J, Justin Timberlake. But the biggest surprise of all on the P. Diddy list is Mark Wahlberg.
That's sad.
That really disturbs me. I thought he was better than that. So, some say that something about Denzel Washington. He's not on the list, but evidently he somehow might have showed up early at a party and just didn't like the vibe and left because he said something along the lines of, if you enter the P. Diddy party after the first half hour, you best leave because that's when the devil arrives. So that's an interesting take from Denzel Washington that supposedly he said about the P. Diddy parties. So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, we were talking about before, going back, Trump is getting a standing ovation, being treated like a king in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. And it's funny, the Prince of Saudi, you're absolutely forbidden to touch him. Trump walks by him and just pats him on the shoulder.
Buddies.
Huh?
They've been friends for a long time from the way it sounds.
What I don't like is the Bush family was friends with the Saudis also.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You wonder that maybe he's making these deals with these Muslim nations as a pushback to the climate change, the electric vehicle shit, to bring back the fossil fuel industry and get the oil industry to say, hey, fuck you with the EVs and fuck you with the electric shit.
Well,
fuck you with the climate change bullshit.
China, basically, because they're the ones that got the batteries, and they're trying to cornhole the market on the batteries.
Well, I don't think he's tough enough on China. I think he's been actually weak on China, but we could talk about that in a minute too. What did I make? I made a little funny statement. I wrote out a little funny statement. I kind of wanted to. I wanted to say regarding Trump and going to Saudi Arabia, making a deal with the Saudis. Here we go. I wrote this out on paper. Trump made a deal with the Saudis. So, Mr. President, does this so-called deal mean we will be back to 99 cents a gallon gas? Just asking for a friend.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see diesel come down to about $1.50.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Boy, would the trucking industry be profiting then, huh? Paul?
Yeah, lately,
Mr. Trucker.
Starting to come back up a little bit, so I'm kind of hoping that's a continued trend. So
yeah.
So how's your smoke holding up for you there?
Oh, it's pretty good. Nice little.
Nice.
Yeah, I did run out on me because I got pretty lengthy talking about Israel and England, but
not a problem.
Well, it holds its own. It's a very good smoke. Very consistent. Does not choke you. The taste of it stays consistent, and it's not raw at all. It's a really good smoke. It's one of those smokes that even the aficionados, the big time experienced smokers, love Ashton. But even the inexperienced, new to cigars people can handle an Ashton and enjoy it. If that's one of your first smokes, that'll be a good a good vibe for you in starting cigar smoking.
Good experience. Yeah.
So,
Metro State Undercrown.
Oh, that's amazing.
Solid.
I love them. I love Drew Estate, but I love those Undercrowns. Those are really good.
Yeah, they're a little bit harsher than what you're smoking. This is more of a
This is mild. This is very mild. It's a Dominican. Dominicans are always pretty mild.
Yeah.
This is about a $10 cigar, folks, too. So
Yeah. It's
I
not
don't know.
cheap.
I don't know what your budget is, but
Yeah.
you can get them probably a little cheaper per stick if you buy a box. But that
Yeah.
box is still going to cost you.
Yeah.
You know,
It set you back.
cedar box. You know, full of them, 20 of them. So
Yeah. Well, I kind of wanted to go into a little bit of a different direction here, if you want me to, or you
you
still
go
got
right
something
ahead.
going?
You go right ahead because we got
All
plenty
right.
of news and
I
stuff.
want to introduce a little segment I want to put together. Maybe we'll do this, a couple of times, throughout the shows and so forth. But I want to bring out Stars Cigars, and I just want to talk about some stars and what they smoke. One of my favorite conservatives, Sly Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
He's what's that?
I said, oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Sylvester Stallone. My
Yeah.
girlfriend likes him.
yeah. Well, he started out smoking cigarettes before he started boxing.
Mhm.
For the Rocky scenes. So he actually quit smoking cigarettes and he went into smoking cigars. And, his favorite cigars were Arturo Fuentes.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's a damn good, solid cigar.
Yeah. With his favorite being the Opus X. So he's, that's kind of where he gravitates to. That's like a $25 stick.
It is a good cigar, though. I have had it one time. I tried it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Back when it was cheaper, though.
Yeah.
I think I saw him on his recent program series that he's got going, Tulsa King. I think he lit one up, a cigar. So
Cool.
I'm trying to think of that other actor who's just a libtard, real total libtard. He played in Sons of Anarchy, that television show. He played Beauty of the Beast. He also played Hellboy. He likes Arturo Fuente also.
Yeah,
What's
I know
his
who
name?
you're talking about. He played Hellboy, and
yeah, he's got the long face, beady looking eyes.
kind of like a horse face. But
yeah.
Anyways, I want to kind of keep going here with what I had going.
Okay.
Jim Belushi, he's another Arturo Fuente, but his was the Hemingway.
Oh, the Hemingway.
That's a beautiful cigar too.
That's
I've had one
another
of those
good one.
before.
Yeah. I've smoked just about everything that Fuentes put out.
Yeah, and he was also fancying the Monte Cristos and the Partagas.
Oh
too.
yeah, Monte Cristos are pricey. They're good, but they're pricey. Cubans, those were Cubans too.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And then going into an actor who I always thought was kind of cool is Lawrence Fishburne.
oh yeah,
He played Morpheus in Matrix. Yeah.
He's a badass dude.
Yeah, he prefers the darker sticks, like the Maduros and such.
Yeah, I like that wrap. I like those Maduro wrappers. Too.
Yeah, he likes that heavier flavors, kind of like
Nicaraguans and stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a specific brand that he gravitates towards, so he likes all the brands.
Okay.
George Burns.
Oh, George Burns lived to be about 101.
Yeah.
When he turned 100, they asked him, what's the secret to a long life? And he said, smoking cigars every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you smoke anywhere from like 10 to 20 cigars a day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Mark Twain supposedly did.
Yeah.
How many cigars a day? It was hard to find him without a stick in his mouth unless he was in a movie. Like George Burns, when he was acting and stuff in a movie, a lot of times for his part, he couldn't have a cigar in his mouth. Right. But boy, anytime you've seen him at any kind of public venue or doing an interview or something like that, he always had a cigar in his mouth. Johnny Carson,
Yep. Well, George Burns, he loved the El Productos and the Queens, and he loved them because they would stay lit even when he was talking.
Yeah, that'd be good. You got to have those.
Yeah, he said they never went out, so he always liked the Queens. He started smoking at the tender age of 14, so he had to partake in cheap smokes such as the nickel cigars, the Hermosa Jose's.
Oh,
he thought
kind of reminds me of the old Dutch Masters.
Yeah. Or you can go into the drugstore and they have them all sitting there on the counter for a nickel a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Milton Berle.
Milton Berle, another great old comedian, old
Yeah.
school guys, all those old Hollywood conservatives
Yep.
back in the day.
And
Yeah.
once he made it big, he got a contract from NBC for 20 years at $200,000 a year. And that's equivalent to about $2 million per year in today's money.
Yeah.
And he fancied H. Upman's.
Oh, that's a good cigar too. H.
Yep.
Upman. They got one called the Banker that's pretty popular.
Yep. And I got a couple more here. I want to talk about Groucho Marx.
Oh, yeah.
He had that big bushy mustache and the big bushy eyebrows.
Well, he was seen. He in a lot of his movies and stuff. He always had a cigar.
Yeah.
You know, and the Marx Brothers and stuff.
Yep.
So, man, we grew up with those old reruns, those old black and white, man. They should put them on television again.
It's a lot better programming.
Oh, yeah. It was hilarious, man. That's some good old time humor right there. It was really good. Method acting humor. You know, it wasn't always what you said. It was how you said it or actions. You know?
And then Groucho, he fancied the Dunhill 410s, which is a good smoke. I don't know if they still produce it anymore, but
I've never seen him. I've never heard of him.
Dunhills are good cigars.
Yeah.
Which actually they're not being produced anymore, so they're not even in the market anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I've never heard of him. I've never seen him. So
now this is your favorite star that smokes cigars.
Oh, don't even go there. Better not be that. Oh, I love Ron White. Oh my gosh. People, folks, listen up. If you don't know the comedian Ron White, this guy's hilarious, man. Sometimes he pushes the envelope to where some people might just be offended by what he says. This guy is a scotch drinker and a cigar smoker, and I love him. And before you go on to tell me what his favorite cigar is, I got a real true story. This is years ago after he did the Blue Collar Comedy tour with Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy, and who was the other one? Oh gosh, and he's hilarious too, and I forget his name now. Dang it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ron White, I loved his bit so much, and it had been the first time I ever seen Ron White was on this Blue Collar Comedy tour with Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy and that other guy, and Ron White came to town. He was coming to town, and there was tickets. And I got tickets up to the front row center.
No way.
And I could smell his cigar, and it had a beautiful aroma, and it was awesome. At one point in the middle of his bit, he just stopped talking, put some ice in a glass, poured himself a scotch. Then he puts a cigar in his mouth and he lights it up and he starts puffing away, stops and looks at the audience. He's like, what? I'm on my break.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. Awesome. And I love his cigars. I don't know what he was smoking at the time, but it smelled awful good. It smelled awesome.
You're going to like this. Davidoff Xeno Platinum Z's.
It's way, way above my pay grade, man.
Yeah, well, he's actually the smoke ambassador for them.
Yeah, $500 a box.
Yeah, more than that.
It is. Yeah, it's more than that. It depends on the Davidoff. I'm talking about your average Davidoff now. Is about $500 a box.
Yeah. Now he also
$20-some a cigar for the average low grade cigar.
Yeah, well, not only wasn't that not cheap, but his scotch was not cheap. He drank Macallan back in the day.
It's from Scotland, imported. Yeah, it's really expensive shit.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, shit. It's up there, $100-some a bottle, I think it is now.
Yeah, and I got those sources off of Holt Cigar, so they had some cool tidbits about those. Next episode, I'm going to talk about presidents who smoked. So,
okay.
Have to tune in on that one.
I want to mention another libturd actor that smokes cigars quite a bit. And he's on the list. He's on the Epstein list, Robert De Niro.
Yep.
He's a cigar smoker too.
I stayed away from those dudes. I just try to
Yeah.
stay away from them. There's a lot of other ones that I'll touch base on also.
Well, I just thought I'd add
Maybe
that.
we'll do the libs that smoke cigs or
Yeah.
smoke.
Libs that libs that are the unmanly libs that still smoke a man's
Yeah.
smoke.
I'll put that together on one of our episodes coming up.
Yeah. Okay, you know what another good one would be is female celebrities or prominent females that smoke cigars.
Yeah, there was a few that I came across.
There's a few, very few, but there's a few that shocked the hell out of me. Like, oh my God, that's a man smoke here, you know?
Yeah, one really surprised me when I read how many she smokes a fucking day.
Wow.
You would never guess it either.
That'll be another one.
Yeah, I'll bring that
segment.
one up.
Females that smoke cigars.
Sounds good. So, Tig, getting off our cigar segment here, what else do you want to roll into?
Well, this could go.
Trump to clean up Congress.
Yes. We elected a majority that was supposed to, give us everything we kind of wanted, so to speak. And yet you still see these weak ass Republicans in the majority getting absolutely nothing done. And they still appease Democrats. Time to drain their ass too. Time to get rid of them too. It's terrible. Even in our own state, we're a totally red state. And now our state house Republicans are turning into a bunch of rhino assholes. The problem is they all get bought. They all want to make that almighty dollar and set themselves for life, and they don't give two shits about what the people think or representing the people. And this is both sides. I'm kind of getting tired of it. I think it's time that we shrink government by literally shrinking the people that are in the House that are supposed to be representing us that are not representing us. I've been saying that forever, and I think Trump is the only one that can start, pushing the envelope there, calling these people out, calling out the Republican Party. He should be doing press conferences and saying, y'all are weak as hell. Y'all are weak. You're not doing what the people elected you to do, So, and you know what? You want to say about that too, but these liberal judges got to go. Okay, these liberal judges, since when do the judges, their job is to basically say what is constitutional and what is unconstitutional. Their job is to hear cases. Their job is to rule on cases. It's not their job to tell the president that he can or cannot do something. It's not their job. He is the executor. Now, if you want to talk about the three branches, the executive, the legislative, the judicial, well, that is, that is supposed to be where they all regulate each other. And that, I had something here too, on that same thing we were talking about. Excuse me for a second here. Okay. Checks and balances, right? Well, the checks and balances on the president, that's the job of the legislative branch. And It's the job for the executive president to call out the legislative branch when they're not doing their job. It's not the job of the judicial to be the checks and balances of the president. That's Congress. Okay. When the president wants to declare war, okay, only Congress can declare war. So the president has to go to Congress, historically has to go to Congress according to the Constitution, and has to ask Congress for the declaration of war. Nowhere in there is it up to the judicial system to do so. Nowhere in there is it up to the judicial system, especially these small time judges that are district judges and aren't even part of the Supreme Court. They have no right to block anything that the president is doing, especially when it comes to protecting us from illegal invaders. And this is a joke. It's a complete joke in this country that defending us against illegal invaders, people that don't belong here, because the legal process was basically ignored by the past regime. It's not their job. And all it is a bunch of biased liberal judges that hate Trump that are doing this out of spite. It's not their job to sit there and say he can't do that.
Well, Congress can put the judicial branch under their wing and take away their powers, from what I'm understanding. Is that correct? Or
they haven't done that?
No, but Trump needs to start putting pressure on Johnson, and he needs to start putting pressure on all of the Republicans.
Johnson's weak. I've said
Johnson's fucking weak as fuck, man. We've been saying that since about 2 weeks after he took office.
Oh, and by the way, for years we've been hearing the Republicans in the House, Republicans that want to get elected, Republicans that have been elected, Republicans that have been sitting there forever. We've heard all of them say, we're going to defend your Second Amendment. We are pro Second Amendment. Well, did you know that despite controlling the House of Representatives, the weak, spineless, sellout Republicans in Congress have failed to pass a single major pro-gun bill since Trump was elected back in 2016. They haven't abolished the ATF, which they should have, because the ATF is an unconstitutional agency that doesn't legislate, so they have no right to regulate or legislate, make up laws against what kind of firearm you can have. And they've been doing nothing but violating our Second Amendment from day one. So it's their job. It should have been the Republicans' job a long time ago, when they had a majority in the House, to stop this ATF nonsense and abolish them. They're an unconstitutional agency. They have not repealed the NFA. They are not passing a national constitutional carry. Remember that? The constitutional carry, the national one that Trump wanted, but yet it's up to the legislative branch, the Republican-controlled House, to give us national constitutional carry, and they have not even introduced the bill, from what I gather, let alone pass it.
We got Larry in the chat there.
Nothing. So much for the Republican Party being pro Second Amendment when they have not passed a bill that actually shows that they are pro Second Amendment. Yeah. Hey, Larry, how's it going? Give us something, Larry, if you're still listening.
Yeah, he sent me an email, kind of doing a little update on the COS Convention of States.
Let's hear it.
Thursday, May 1st. The recent endorsement of Iowa Congressman Zach Nunn has potential to flip key Iowa legislators our way, but need to make sure they see it. Let's see. The goal is to get key Iowa legislators to change their position on the COS strategy is peer pressure on Zach Nunn. And so I think this Zach guy is going to be a problem for Iowa.
Zach Nunn is a problem. In fact, Zach Nunn has been weak on the Second Amendment also. He has done nothing ever to be pro Second Amendment. And it's funny you mentioned Zach Nunn in the state of Iowa. And I just got done talking about weak ass Republicans that say they were pro Second Amendment, but have done nothing to introduce any pro guns, pro Second Amendment bills whatsoever. Zach Nunn's one of them from Iowa who has never done a damn thing for the Second Amendment. So that's a funny irony right there. You just mentioned that. that's really cool that he mentions Zach Nunn being a weak ass, spineless ass piece of crap from Iowa that is a do nothing sellout Republican rhino piece of crap.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of them in Iowa.
Yeah.
Ashley Hinson's another. I
Needs to
won't say
go.
it. I won't
But
say it.
we,
It's
our governor, she's
Joni
going to
Ernst. You're a
down,
piece of crap too. You're a traitor to the Second Amendment.
and
You
our
know
governor is going to be.
this is a problem. I was in trouble.
Larry just said Convention of States has passed 2,700,000 petitions signed in the states. Way to go.
Yeah. And time is running out. Just like time is running out on Trump, time is running out, period. Midterms are right around the corner. And we got to get busy on that.
Well, I think
on everything.
Just my thoughts on Trump's deal right now. He needs to focus a little bit more on what's happening in his own Congress.
A lot of people I talk to, including my girlfriend, are really big pro-Trumpers, are really disappointed in him right now because of his lack of. He's been making deals and stuff like that. Well, making deals and making America wealthy again, okay, that's fine. You're making America, the country, wealthy again, but the working class people aren't seeing it. Okay, for some of them in the Trump administration that say gas prices have gone down, grocery prices have gone down. Well, not everywhere they haven't. I'm not seeing the price in gas and the price in groceries going down where I'm at.
It go down a little bit, and then it went right back up a little bit.
Right back up. So it don't matter. And the borders thing, well, I'm all for it. I love what he's doing, but he needs to stand up and say, enough of you Democrats, enough of you stupid judges, enough is enough. And now we've got a problem too, Bull, getting on that border thing. And I know we might be kind of jumping here, but the county sheriff where we live is a weak ass Democrat. And you got a lot of these weak ass Democrat county sheriffs in red states that are refusing to cooperate with ICE and allow them in their counties to do their job.
Well, from what I understand, he didn't refuse. He just said he's not going to appoint anybody to actually do this because of.
That's a soft way. That's a soft way of refusing.
Right, I understand, but I can see his point too, where he says he doesn't have the monetary resources for it because it would push everybody into overtime. So
he don't need the resources. He's a sheriff. He can sit there and he can invite ICE to come in and say it's all yours. My guys, I don't have enough guys to help you, so take it, from here.
Yeah.
Do your thing
around it. He just,
there's ways around.
Kind of taking the duck out.
All he has to say is, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is the amount of staff I have for them to do their job. They can't help out in these deportations and arrests. So you're going to have to bring in enough ICE agents to come in, and you're going to have to do it all on your own. Well, I'm sure Tom Homan would be all for it. All he has to do is say, hey, welcome, come in. Use the offices, but don't use my people because I don't have enough people to help you. So just use your people and do your thing.
With him saying what he said, it put us on the sanctuary list, didn't it?
Well, and then he's trying to deny it, but it is putting us on a sanctuary list. And not only that, he just told everybody all the illegals where they should come. Which county they should move into. And that's what they're doing. These sheriffs, by denying cooperation or helping ICE, they're basically so many words saying, oh, well, we're not going to do anything. So, hey, our county's the county for all you illegals to come in and have sanctuary.
Yeah. I think Trump should also put the Convention of States, or not Convention of States, but I think he should just put term limits on the next ballot. Let the people vote on it, because we're not seeing that it's going to ever get voted for through the legislative branch. So
yeah, and I think I don't know if the governors have a power to do this, but the red state governors, maybe if these blue run cities and counties that are run by these Democrat sheriffs, if they're not going to cooperate with ICE, they should say, well, we're not going to give you any state funding. And the federal government, Trump should say, we're not going to give you any funding, federal funding at all in your counties, your cities. No, we're done. Yeah. So some of these blue cities, not the blue cities within the red states, if they don't comply with ICE or they don't bother to help out or allow ICE to come in and do their duty, then I think that they should lose federal funding completely. You know, it's as simple as that.
It's the sad part of it, you know.
Yeah. So enough is enough. And these illegals, I don't want them. I don't care. You know, and these Democrats say, oh, that's funny how you use patriotism to basically cover up for your racism. Okay, guess what? If not wanting illegal thugs, gangs, terrorists, people that don't respect our laws and our culture, if that's racism, so be it. Get them out of here. I don't want any foreigners in here in the first place. You know why? We don't need them. They're not coming in here and contributing. They're not contributing nothing to this country, and they're not going through the actual process in which they're supposed to be going through. So get rid of them all.
Yeah, my thoughts are if they are here illegally, they can go back to their countries. They have no business here.
Either the easy way or the hard way.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you want to be a legal citizen in this country, you must learn to read and write English. Period. So, you know, anything you got there, Bull? Trump, like basic news, whether
I was thinking maybe we should do about 5 minutes of trending news and shut her down.
Okay, FBI director, I guess from what I hear, James Comey actually got arrested by Secret Service on, it's on record running major operations against America and calling for the overthrow of Trump. In other words, 8647, as many of you probably have heard in the news, 8647, you know, like as in burial 8 wide, 6 deep, 47 being the number of our president. 86 is kind of a military term, deep 6, you know. So he's a corrupt criminal for the deep state and had FBI operatives at J6 2021. We know that, instigating the setup of the J6. And Ray Epps should be arrested as well because he was a Fed during J6 that was there instigating as well. Whatever happened to him, you know, he should be arrested. If anything, Comey, you need to be 86th. So, yeah, so that was the week of May 15th this week. We've had record-breaking hot temperatures also. And that can go into some news.
Weather engineering.
Weather engineering, weather modification. And besides the weather modification, people have been getting sick, body aches, headaches, sinus problems, fevers, due to the weather modification. No, not just allergies. It is allergy season, but people have been getting even more sick lately. Yeah. Not due to new viruses or COVID or any of that. It's due to weather modification, chemtrails, and the 5G towers, which some of you people still say is a conspiracy theory. But if you go down further down the rabbit hole, there's so much radiation out of those 5G towers. Folks, it's worse than holding a cell phone up to your ear. And we're proving that they've been proven the radiation from cell phones by holding it up to your ear is heavily bad for you too, health-wise.
Right. Another thing Doge uncovered was Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett each donated over $1 billion to the Biden 2020 campaign. Doge auditor Joe Barron said they were paid $250 million quarterly for 4 years, or $4 billion apiece for their contribution.
So Doge is finding a lot of fraud and a lot of wasteful spending. My question is this: what are you going to do about it? What are you doing about it? What have you been doing about it? Hey, what happened to that $5,000 that every family was going to get due to the savings from Doge
Yeah.
uncovering the wasteful spending? Haven't heard much about that as of late.
Yeah, and that's just a fucking snot drop in the bucket, you know. I mean, that's really not anything for us to, you know, we should be getting a lot back, you know. I mean,
Hey, Doge. Hey, Doge. Hey, Trump administration. We, the people, want our money back.
yeah, it's a failing system.
Yeah.
Another thing that popped up, Steve Bannon was talking about the H-1B visa program, and it's a total and complete scam. If we got rid of that, you know, we would see the trucking industry take off like crazy because of the Pakistani drivers that are out there. I'm talking about these guys that don't know how to speak English, don't know how
Get
to
them
read
out of
it.
there. They don't
Get them
belong in the
the fuck
job.
out of here.
They're just taking jobs.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people out there that want
Not to
trucking
mention,
jobs.
they're also doing their own logistics. You know, so these companies are double dipping. They put the people over here, and then they come up with all these, you know, trucking companies, and then they handle the freight. So it's just like they're double dipping.
Yeah, that's that's
So they can't afford to drop the rates to the bottom, and everybody suffers.
yeah. I don't get it, Bull.
H-1B visa program needs to go.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like seeing foreign drivers anyway. I'm sorry, folks, but I just don't like foreigners. Okay, don't sit there and say, "Oh well, you know, your people were immigrants, your family was immigrants, you came from immigrants." You know, they had a process. They came over. They were hardworking. They loved America. They waved the flag of America. They wanted to be Americans. They loved the culture. They respected our laws, and they worked hard to get through the process, the legal process, to become citizens. That's how they did it, not what it is today, folks. What it is today is highly illegal and uncalled for, and it's time they go.
Yeah. And you
So,
did touch on the fact that Joe Biden has prostate cancer. Came out and said that, right?
yeah, well, I didn't say it until you just said it. I told it to you
Well,
beforehand.
you said something about cancer, and then you said the actors are getting tired, so they want to
Yeah,
retire.
yeah. You know, the irony is they just diagnosed Joe Biden with pretty much an aggressive cancer. Now, folks, first of all, many of us believe that the actual Joe Biden, because if you put the pictures together, the actual Joe Biden, well, he's been dead or something. Because the latest Joe Biden, who was supposedly put in front of the camera during his term, so-called term, I should say, basically, you know, fraudulently put there, was an actor. Okay. If you do the
Wasn't
research, go
his
down the
name like
rabbit hole. They
Strom or
make
something?
masks, they have actors. And I think it's ironic that right after this Pope dies, that Joe Biden now has this aggressive cancer, especially since that when the truth comes out behind the Joe Biden and his family, they're going to see that he should have been thrown in prison, you know, or hung for treason. But anyway, it's kind of miraculous that the actors are all retiring from their positions. You know, the Pope,
Right.
Joe Biden. You know, so let's call me conspiracy theorist all you want. Go down the rabbit hole, people. It is what it is. These people aren't what you think they are, and they aren't actually the real people that they are portraying. They're
Right.
figureheads, they're actors, and they're just put out there in front of the camera to basically read a script to you people, when actually behind the scenes someone else is controlling it all.
Right. Got anything else? We could wrap her up here pretty quick.
Well, for the first time since 1935, the city of Chicago experienced a major dust storm where you couldn't pretty much see 2 feet in front of you. Man, you're going to find out all the people get sick from that dust, whatever the hell it was in that dust that was flying into the people went outside during that dust storm. All that dust, what was in that dust? And what is it? And what's it going to do to people? And is the rise of lung cancer going to go up in Chicago now, or what? What's it going to be? And this is not since 1934 did they have such a major dust storm. Makes you wonder: was it modified? Was it created? Who knows?
Well, I was just going to ask you this, Tig. This weekend when I did my yard work and I took my blower and I started blowing everything off, it was extremely dusty. And, I could have swore when we had that rain,
The brown shit that it left on
there
our
was,
vehicles.
silver flakes in the rain that you could actually see.
Yeah, that's from the chemtrails, folks, and it's mixing in with the rain. It's coming down and it's poisoning us slowly. It's not healthy. You see a film as a result of rain. You see your car, not your normal water stains, your rain stains on the car, but it's leaving silver or brown film, like a dust. That's not healthy. That can't be healthy, folks. You don't know what the hell's in that shit. They've been stop the fucking chemtrails. You pilots, don't you have a conscience? Because I guess our military is being used to do it, the Air Force. But let me tell you something. This is not a conspiracy theory. Now people are waking up to the chemtrails. That's poisoning us. It's kind of like Agent Orange from Vietnam. Only, they're using it more often and it's not being as, it's not literally coming down and you're feeling the wet spray from the skies coming down and hitting you, because that doesn't happen until you feel the rain come down that's mixed with the cloud seeding and all the chemtrails and all that crap. So you know what? We need to get a petition nationally to stop these chemtrails. I don't know if petitions are really good.
Help, Tig.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I don't think that's going to do it. I don't even think Trump can do it.
And, states are doing it.
I think it's actually going to boil down to the people taking care of this problem. They're going to have to find out where these chemicals are being processed and
accidentally set a fire.
Well, I'm not saying that, but, that'd be a shame,
Yeah, it would be a shame. Just
would be a shame.
Yeah, it would be a shame. Oh, chemical plant just committed suicide. Like whenever a whistleblower gets suicided,
Those fuckers don't have no problems burning down a fucking food plant.
Oh yeah, chickens. They torched all these.
Another thing I heard they were doing in Canada is they were killing the ostriches because I guess in the ostrich egg there's so many antibodies that
eggs are good for you.
mRNAs. So
yeah, eggs are good for you. There was a lady who she turned 103, and when they asked her what's the secret to a long life, she said eat 3 eggs a day. Boom. Because the nutrients in eggs are so good for you, they build up your immune system and they fight all shit that will attack your system. Yeah. So that's why they want to depopulate us. They want to kill off the world's population. And in order to do it, they got to make sure people aren't healthy. And the problem is anything that people take, like eggs, on a regular basis that makes them healthy, they don't like that. So what do? Kill off the production of eggs.
Right.
And then, conveniently raise the prices so high that nobody wants to buy them or can afford them. Things that make you go,
Right.
I want to add something recently because I know this is my girlfriend's favorite guy. As if he has an opinion anymore. All right. Did you hear about Trump got a gift? We got a gift, the jet from Qatar. The country of Qatar.
Yeah.
He received like a multi-million-dollar jet. And Trump.
Not him. It's actually our country received it. It wasn't Trump.
Our country received it, but Trump said yes to it, I guess. Because now all the Democrats are blaming Trump because everything's his fault. It's his fault if he says, hey, yeah, why don't we'll accept a gift of a jet from Qatar. So. Traitor Mike Pence is back and says it's a bad idea for Trump to accept the Qatar jet. Hey, Pence, you should be hung by your neck for treason. Why do you even think you have an opinion? Why do you think people care what you think? Shut the fuck up. You
Right.
fucking treasonous fucking
Traitor.
dirtbag, shitbag, loser. Go away. Go the fuck away. Nobody cares. Nobody likes you. Go
Yeah.
away. That's my statement there for that ass wipe. So, I think we're winding it down, are we not? Remember Rachel Maddow, Mad Cow
Yeah.
Maddow? She recently got replaced on MSNBC, lost her
Oh,
job,
darn.
got replaced. But listen to this. She got replaced by Jen Psaki.
Oh, wow.
You know, circle back Psaki, who used to be the media press secretary for Biden. Yeah. And guess what? Since Jen Psaki took over her slot, ratings fell even more.
Nice.
MSNBC, you loser network, you're just as bad as CNN. Y'all suck. You know, you're garbage. Nobody listens to you. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to listen to you except for the brainwashed sheeple that are libturds. So, yeah. So with that being said, I am about through with everything that I have for
I've
tonight.
exhausted mine as well.
Yeah. So I guess that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thanks
If
for
you,
following.
yes,
tonight.
people, if you're not suspicious or a little paranoid, then you are not prepared.
Awesome. And mine is quit spraying our skies. It's simple.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
You Air Force pilots out there, grow a conscience. You don't need to do that to your own people.
Yeah, but they don't give a fuck, man. They just don't care.
Obviously.
So thanks for following us, Stars, Bars, and Cigars here. We're on Rumble tonight. We're on Twitch, and we are on
Thanks,
Rumble,
Larry.
Rumble,
Thanks,
YouTube,
Larry.
and Twitch. And thanks, Larry, for throwing down some comments tonight. That was pretty cool. And catch us on all of your socials. And I guess with that, we're gonna skip out of here. See ya.
See ya. Hey, y'all.
You've been listening to Stars, Bars, and Cigars. Two conservative vets telling it like it is. The rally cry for those who appreciate bold truths served with a side of mayhem.
Roger, outside, disciple 4, copy all. We'll keep them sweating until we see Butcher 3. Out.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And if you didn't, well, why are you still here, snowflake? We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, follow us on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and hear our precious voices on all the streaming services. Until next time, keep the spirit of freedom roaring.